good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Sawadee Krupp. I'm Steven, and this is my video log, The Psy American. It's about life, family, living, exploring, creating, fixing, and building. Brought to you initially from Thailand, and now the United States, where I'm originally from, and now located with my family. Here you'll get Thai American perspectives, insights, experiences, opinions, advice, and other unique content about both of my home countries, Thailand and the USA. This is in addition to some music, including both original compositions and covered renditions of songs that inspired me within a passion which I hope to relate to the world through this vlog. If you like what you see and hear here, be sure to give me likes, comments, and subscribe so as to not miss any updates. Khop kun krap. Welcome to the latest update. Well, this update is a few months old, but I am catching up slowly but surely. So yeah, earlier in February this year we were exploring near the Navajo Dam, the northern part of New Mexico, and specifically in this coming clip we are driving near the San Juan River, where the San Juan River exits the dam on the southeast side. And as you can see, even in the midst of winter February, the water is flowing and it's multicolored, and there was a lot of people already parking up to fish. You know, there's a lot of trails on that part of the river, the San Juan River that is, of course, leaving Navajo Dam. So definitely worthwhile to come back to this coming summer. I mean, San Juan River is one of the beautiful rivers around in this region, including the Animas River and La Plata River, and a few more smaller rivers and creeks that we will explore in the near future. But anyway, some good ecology to see even during the winter. And like I said, there's some trailheads that even from February you can start to kind of explore. I mean, if you're a winter hiker, even if there's some snow on the ground certain times of year, maybe December, January, you might find some times where there's snow and some of this river is frozen. But when we were here February, as you can see, it's already ready to start fishing. A nice overall scene. But real quickly on the topic of fishing, here in the United States, most places in the United States, if not all places in the United States, you do need a fishing license, which you buy a license from Walmart or from any wildlife fishery place. And I haven't done this yet, but I probably will look into this in the near future. But yeah, you buy your license for the season, and yeah, there are some restrictions on how much and where you can fish, but we'll get into that in the future. A lot of people don't follow those guidelines. But anyway, from the dam, you right where we were at earlier, there you go up the dam here, and it's a huge incline to come to the top of the ridge here, where you can oversee the actual Navajo, or at least a big part of it, reservoir. This is from, like I said, the southwest side of the dam, and it's right near the river point where we were at. But yeah, you can park your car, and there's like a little beach area past this fenced area, little trail heading on down to the dam. And so a lot of people when we came here, there was some people picnicking, and I'm sure a lot more people are picnicking during warmer weather. But yeah, it was really worthwhile little side exploration to walk from this parking lot here at the top and to check out the overall San Juan River below. And that's the San Juan River flowing southwest towards Farmington and ultimately towards the Grand Canyon. But anyway, in this part of New Mexico, this is one of the largest lakes, and the reservoir itself is all part of the San Juan River basin here. So it flows all the way from the northern part of Colorado, at least the dam side. And a lot of people come here, especially during the summer, to recreate. There's a little marina, a lot of speed boats and houseboats on part of this reservoir. But during this trip, we were just looking at the reservoir here on the south side, and later we'll go check out an access point from the east side, which is quite a drive away. We actually had a detour quite a while, but definitely worthwhile just to get the scenery here. But like I said, there's a little trail that you go down, and it takes about probably 5 minutes, maybe a little bit more depending on how fast you walk. Of course I've got a little kid with me, so I gotta help him along some of these things so he doesn't slip and fall. But yeah, you could go down there bring a picnic and enjoy yourself. But be sure if you ever take picnics to places like this that you bring your trash with you. I mean, it's funny I have to say this here. In the U.S., generally people are pretty conscious about that, but obviously in Asia and Thailand specifically, a lot of people, they just leave their trash wherever they go, and it's a nuisance. So yeah, it's my duty to remind you all that if you do go eat out in public, make sure you leave the place better than you found it. But anyway, we didn't have a picnic. We didn't leave any trash there. As you can see, I even walk barefoot. I like when I see a nice sandy, rocky, earthen place that's clean. I'd like to go barefoot. I'd like to go native there. But beautiful scene. It'd be really great to come visit here again on a boat, even, or even with some fishing poles. Spend the night, camp a few nights here, and just explore the greater reservoir, the upper reaches of the San Juan River at this reservoir point. But you can see there's a little beach there, so the water's clear. It's pretty cold. I mean, unless you're into Wim Hofing, wouldn't necessarily recommend it during this time of year to go take a dip. But unless you're into Wim Hofing, again, Wim Hofing is a good thing to get into. But yeah, so we left the reservoir after a little side explore and headed up the highway, but not the way we came on the east side. We're heading towards the southern part of the reservoir, and we're going to look for another access point. Actually, I was looking at some land, but I'm not going to get into that here because it just hurts. I mean, it was a nice piece of land. I found like half an acre not too far from this reservoir, and it was a good buy at the time, but at the time, yeah, timing is everything. Of course, that land slipped away. Someone else bought it. Obviously around springtime, someone was like, "Yeah, this will be great land to own. For the summer, I can go park my boat here." Is the idea. But anyway, the takeaway home message is, of course, when you find something good, especially in real estate, jump on it. But anyway, I have a bunch of other things going on right now, so I'm not ready to get into real estate at the moment here. As you can see over in this particular part, we had a deer sighting, and there's lots of deer in this part of the world. Right now, in this clip, we are currently driving on Highway 527, which branches off of Highway 64, and this is heading west towards Navajo Dam, so it's on the east side of the dam, and I guess there's a campground there called Sims Mesa, which we'll ultimately come to. But yeah, it is a little bit of a detour, and you look on the map, it's just a little stretch around the reservoir, but this is a huge reservoir. So we had, it's a good probably 35-40 minutes just getting in there from Highway 64. But of course, as I mentioned, we had another reason. We were looking at land not too far from the dam near this Highway 527, but I'm not going to show any of that here just because it's neither here nor there. It was real cheap. It was like $4,000, and I had the money technically ready, but I had a lot of other stuff to sort out, and I didn't act on it quick. And that was that. So here we are arriving to the campground. I believe it's called Sims Mesa Campground, and it's on the east side of the southern end of Navajo Dam. But like I said, it's a little bit of a detour, but from Highway 64, which heads south from Dulce, Pagosa Springs, you just branch off west on this Highway 527, and it's just this one little stretch of highway that goes from 64 to this campground here on the southern part of Navajo Dam. We didn't camp here, but you can camp here, pay a fee. But moving on in our little adventures, after some time in Farmington, we head north to Colorado via Highway 170 in New Mexico, which changes to 140 once you cross over the Colorado border at this border point. And funny enough, at that border point, I actually looked at another piece of land, which I'm not going to share with you here, again, because it's not on the market, and I don't want to torture myself. But this is one of the routes coming from Farmington heading north to that whole southern stretch of Colorado between Cortez, Mancos, Durango, Hesperus, Ignacio. But this one comes right in between, Cortez and Durango, this little stretch, and it follows the La Plata River. And on the New Mexico side, it's San Juan County. On this side here in Colorado, it's La Plata County. La Plata means silver, by the way. And so you can see the La Plata Mountains or the Silver Mountains in the distance, and that's where basically the famous mountain towns of Silverton, and of course Telluride are located out there, and then Durango's obviously on one side, and on the other side is you've got Cortez and Dolores. But anyway, we're coming up Highway 170 in Colorado, passing over the La Plata River several times. The La Plata is the other major river here in this region. As I mentioned earlier, there's the San Juan over to the far east over there, right at the start of the Continental Divide, and then you come more west towards Durango. There's the Animas River, which we'll be visiting a lot more in the near future, and then there's the La Plata River here. And they all flow southwards into New Mexico and converge in Farmington, as I mentioned in a previous update, converge into the San Juan River, which we saw earlier, and that ultimately flows south-southwest all the way to southern part of Utah, northern part of Arizona, merges with the Colorado River, forms the Grand Canyon. It ultimately flows out to the Sea of Cortez, if I'm not mistaken, in the Pacific Ocean. But anyway, neither here nor there now. This is just a wintry drive in La Plata County coming up, and at this particular time we head west towards Cortez once we reach Highway 160 at a town called Hesperus. And it's not too far once you reach Hesperus to get to either Durango or Cortez for that matter. But we're heading to Cortez, which is in the far southwest part of Colorado. As we updated earlier, that's when we visited Mesa Verde here. But right before you get to Cortez is this rest stop, this Colorado Department of Transportation rest area. And it's good to visit rest areas in different parts of the world sometimes, especially if you're traveling in a camper or a travel van, or you just need a rest. So here's another good one right outside of Cortez that I'm going to share with you here briefly in this update.
Outside of Cortez, Colorado. Little trail at a rest stop. Juniper and pinyon trees.
And of course, in another place we visited while we were in Cortez is another park or nature area. It's Carpenter Natural Area, and so nice little hike. I'm sure again it's much more beautiful in the summer and spring when you can see a lot more greenery. But even during the winter, it's a nice little hike here. It looks like pretty dry, but there's a lot of ecology going on, and this is a great little place to find out about the local ecology and the native plants that are abundant here. And so as you go along the trail, there's a lot of signage of all these different types of wildflowers and wild shrubs and trees that grow here naturally. And so I'm going to share with you some of these. You can pause and look, but of course it's not going to do the justice because a lot of these plants, they're in winter stage, so they're hibernating, I guess is the word for some of these plants, that they just kind of, they go into dormancy for a period of winter, and when it warms up in spring, then they bloom and blossom. So it's probably a lot better to come here during the spring and summer. Nonetheless, you can see the pause anytime if you want to actually look at the native plants here that grow here. But it's a good idea to kind of capture it and get an idea. Plan to spend more time here, what kind of plants we can look to as far as the native ecology goes, and because every plant has hordes of benefits. It's just a matter of discovering what those benefits are. In our age of information and technology, you can quickly search the internet or any online encyclopedia or Wikipedia for that matter of what the plant is, what its uses are in different parts of the world, and there's also research into a lot of these plants and their phytochemicals. But anyway, for later exploitation purposes, like I said, every plant has some benefit, even weeds. But anyway, natural Carpenter area, really nice little hike here. You can go up kind of the mountainside and kind of see, overlooks, the northern part of Cortez. We're not quite to the mountaintop yet. It's not really a mountain, it's a little hilltop, but it's on the northern part of Cortez. So whenever I go to a new place and I want to kind of get a perspective of it, I've always thought it best to find a vantage point, usually at some park somewhere. Obviously, if you live in a big metropolitan area, you can go to the top of a building and kind of oversee the entire cityscape that way and get the layout of the land. But in smaller towns like this, Cortez, there's always some kind of hilltop or a viewpoint where you can go and hike up or even park in some places. But in this particular area, you kind of got to hike about a mile or two up to the top of the ridge, the hill overlooking, in this particular case, Cortez. But yeah, prior to that, like I said, there's lots of ecology to study. As we see, there's a lot of elm trees and willow trees and other types of shrubs and herbs, such as the amaranth family, which is native to this part of the world. And so yeah, there's benches even. You can kind of hang out and spend some time here. Really great to find these places, these jewels. A lot of people, they go, oh, I want to go see the museums, which yeah, museums are great, but if you can find any nature park or ecology preservation place in the destination you're at, then I definitely recommend it, because then you'll definitely get a really feel for where you're at, what kind of environment and ecology you're dealing with. But otherwise, you would never know, right? You look at this place, oh, this is a dry, high desert. There's nothing but bushes and dust weeds or whatever, if you didn't actually look closer. But once you look closer, you'll find that it's much more rich than that. It's just a seasonal thing. It's part of the charm of the place you're at. So going up here this ridge at Carpenter's natural area, there's many places where the kind of trail here is there, but there's a lot of signage there kind of pointing in the direction. And one thing you'll find in this part is they close off a lot of trail branches, because they want to try to revegetate it, and so there'll be a lot of signage saying don't go this way, because we're letting it revegetate. And a lot of people just go off trail, and people here are very trail conscious, so it's, like I said, not only about picking up your trash where you go, but staying on the trail is very big deal. Maybe people in the East aren't so much used to that strictness. But finally, you get up to the top of this ridge, and you kind of have an overview, vantage point of the northern part of Cortez. Of course, there's the La Plata Mountains, I believe, over to the east, and then to the south is the Ute Mountains, Southern Ute Mountains, and the Ute Reservation. And so, yeah.
Hey, how's it going? What you doing up there? Ooh. Over here? Come see me over here. Hey! I'll come down on the slider now. Come on the slider. No. Okay. Mountain View Lodge outside of Dolores in Cortez, Colorado. So we got a family suite upstairs. It's got 2 rooms, living space, and then there's a shared common area, a game room. Come down the slide. 1, 2. น้องก่อนไปพับเจ็ดรอหนึ่งอุ้ยโอเคไปพี let's go Commons area, kitchen, fireplace, hearth. Got a piano even. Suites upstairs. Got a half bathroom here. This is the common bathroom downstairs. Fireplace. That one. Got a real fireplace too. Upstairs, here we go. This one is the Wrangler's Roost. Not sure if someone's staying there right now, but here's the family suite here. Got a little common sitting area. TV, mini fridge. It's a closet. Here's bedroom number 1. It's even got its own little Brenda. Wow. Nice view of Cortez to the south. And yonder that way is Dolores, Utah over there somewhere. New Mexico behind those mesas and mountains. The other bedroom, perfect for families. Single bed, a bunk bed, little sofa, sink, closet probably, walk-in closet too. Walk-in closet. And then full bathroom, bathtub, shower, and that's it.
And so to wrap up this update from Cortez, just a scene from one of the parks, one of the city center parks, and this is Centennial Park, and nice playground there, and of course there's a little pond here with a lot of varieties of ducks there, just like ducks and swans hanging out, really nice for the kids to see. And it's right next to Cortez Recreation Center, and there's another park, like a bunch of soccer fields. It's coming in the coming clips. I think it's called, what is it, Parque de Vida, Parque de Vida, I don't know how to pronounce that, but anyway, Centennial Park and Recreation Center right in the center there. I said several playgrounds. This playground over at Parque de Vida is okay, as is the one at Centennial Park across the street. So yeah, that wraps it up for this update, and thanks for tuning in. It was a little bit of a long one here, me rambling on and stuff, but I do got a lot more interesting updates coming up in this part of the world, so stay tuned for that. And if you haven't already, please give me a few comments or so, and subscribe if you really like what you see in here. Thanks. Catch up again soon. Bye.
Transcend like sin. As high American, I come to carry ya far beyond the barrier. For the Siamese genes, I'm a carrier. Hysteria, hysteria, hysteria. Potent like a potion, burning on fire without power to stoke you and make you inspired. Don't retire. Save all you make, you can't take it to the grave. So indulge my wave, else you expire.